Muy buena gente, bienvenidos de nuevo a Disco Elysium. Seguimos, segunda parte del video. Sí, recuerden que yo grabé este mismo en dos partes. Bueno, en una parte totalmente larga. Sí, subí la primera parte, fueron 1 hora y media, 1 hora 40 de grabación. Así que nada, sin más preámbulos, continuemos con la historia.
Some shit.
Momento que estoy contestando un mensajín. Mientras yo lo escucho, sí, voy a capaz que demore unos segunditos
Show
en
me the
pasar.
souls, please, Mr. Dros.
Fucking imbecile.
Hmm.
The maker is Sensorique, the model is Corobay, and the size is 43. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned souls you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the soul.
Al fin sirve de teoría la que lo reparió. La madre que lo parió. Espera, quizás sea más simple que eso.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
La gente cambia de calzado, eso no significa que no haya merodeado por la escena del crimen.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters. They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge.
Gracias.
The prince were his.
Estamos
You
jugando
can see
inteligente.
it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
Era un asesino en realidad. Pero aún así seguía estando bajo la protección de la ley. A ver.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
Perdón que cambié la pantalla. Pensé que se había tildado la aplicación.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
Entonces, ¿le disparó?
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling.
A sentir.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death. And that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
¿Qué pasó después?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own.
Spirit de Corps me salió recién. Empatía no me interesa, la verdad. Estos creo que no me... Estos yo creo que son los que menos me interesaron en todo el juego. Sí que también porque le puse bajo, pero pensé que esto iba a ser un poco mejor. Ahora voy a subir un punto de Spirit de Corps, así se pone con empatía y ya tendría prácticamente los 4 que estoy usando bastante igualados.
And so they did.
Mr. Dros, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
Mierda que me están dando... Me están dando puntos. Otro Spirit de Corps. No viene mal.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman having sex, through the scope of your rifle?
Podría
that
haber
night,
subido alguno de estos
before you
también.
shot
Con
him?
postura tendría que haber subido. Que...
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from.
El móvil, yo creo que sí. La motivación vendría a
You
ser.
can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
¿Por qué los estaba observando aquella noche?
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
Siempre está observando y buscando su oportunidad de matar a algún contrario, digamos.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
Aprieta el gatillo.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
Wow.
You've got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Tendría que haber subido, bueno, con postura en realidad sí lo subía a 2 puntos, esos 2 puntos, quizás hasta 30 llegaba. ¿Qué es lo que no le gustó concretamente de lo que vio esa noche?
Them fucking. I didn't like that.
Estaba celoso.
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet
Perdido
to reach
totalmente.
his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
He wants to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
Alberga sentimientos por la mujer.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Huh.
Man needs to feel something else. It helps if you have your eye on something there. Something pretty. It's weakness, I know.
¿Ha habido otras?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Por eso dejaste las flores secas bajo la ventana.
No.
¿Por qué?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
¿Cómo? O sea que después de asesinar estuvo ahí.
The day after I killed him.
Entonces le llevó las compararias.
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
Buscabas consolarla.
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes. One more down.
¿Cuánto tiempo la lleva espiando? Claramente quería castigarla a ella.
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
Bien, entonces, clase es el motivo. Vio que escondió algo. Supongo que ahora tendremos que ir a ver eso. ¿Qué cree que estaba escondiendo?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
Sabe todo.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
¿Una especie de recipiente oculto en la costa? ¿Miró en su interior?
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean...
Sí, claramente tenemos que ir a buscarlo y cerrar. Calculo que cerraríamos todo con clase. ¿Siguió espiándola después de aquello?
I did. She had a
Se
face
obsesionó con
like an
ella.
archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
Nos dijo que era una espía, así
She
que.
had different color hair on
O
the
alguien nos
photo,
lo dijo.
and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
Recapitulemos un momento. Si él solamente tuvo adiestramiento, no tuvo otro tipo de entrenamiento, fue muy joven, no estuvo mucho en el ejército. ¿Cómo es que sabe identificar documentos falsos, todo esto? ¿Lo aprendió en el transcurso o qué onda? Es algo que me pica en la cabeza.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises, you can't make that out in a scope.
Vio sus moratones a través de la mira de un rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
¿Cómo es que conoce esos detalles tan minuciosos sobre su cuerpo?
It quickly comes to
Bien.
you.
Los moretones de su cuerpo. ¿Es posible que se los viera a través de un agujero en la pared?
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife.
Good for listening.
Estamos atando
in,
todos los cabos
too,
sueltos, me encanta.
For hearing the moaning and the snorts.
¿La ha visto alguna vez a través de una ventana, desde una azotea quizás?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
Aquellas huellas eran suyas, ha cambiado de calzado.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
Y en ese en concreto también.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
¿Me estás diciendo que Garte lo vio entonces?
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
One more thing. The flowers, Mr. Dros. The dried flowers that were on the roof.
What about them?
There, he's already admitted to it. Just ask.
¿Dejó usted las convalerias secas detrás de su ventana?
I did. I shouldn't have. It was a mistake.
¿Por qué lo hizo?
I was there one night, and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room, on the floor. I'd never seen her do that before.
Repite preguntas, así que esto seguramente lo
The day
pasamos rápido.
after I killed. Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do.
Lo mismo, buscaba consolarla.
If you
Esto ya lo
came
vimos.
In the silence, the lieutenant one more down.
Perfecto. Quería castigarla a ella, así que lo mató.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
No. Tampoco diría esto, no voy a decir nada.
The old man raises his gaze. Something glimmers in the corner of his black eye. A bitter taste on his tongue.
Así que en resumen, no fue por él, fue por ella.
Her.
El pájaro se fue. No, sigue ahí moviéndose.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
¿Le subo a compostura? Yo creo que le voy a subir un puntito. Descubrimos el motivo. Creo que ya no nos queda nada. Claramente la armadura ya tenemos todo. Meterle... Esto si nos dejan seguir, podríamos intentar hacerlo. Esto no lo voy a hacer.
That's it. Motive. We have it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
¿Se lo digo o no se lo digo? A ver, no puede hacer nada ya. Se escapó, ¿no? Sin antes guiarnos hasta aquí. Supo dilucidar que alguien la observaba desde la fortaleza.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Ahora cierran un montón de cosas porque ella estuvo todo este tiempo en la maldita azotea. Cierran un montón de cosas.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lusanne's central aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by hybrid aircraft.
What? Espera, espera. En el centro de la ciudad, al otro lado de la bahía de Revachol, el viento oceánico baña torres de 40 pisos. Sobre ellas, el aeródromo central Lucien... Ah, estábamos pensando que se fue para allá. Está en una aeronave.
On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving, for another, far south.
Seguramente ya no tiene ya los documentos, no los podemos ir a buscar.
Smaller, distant.
Aparte no nos aparece como
Not
misión.
like the great chandeliers she sees sparkle in the dusk below her. Streets, towers, tenements, and cold water. Across the water, a dark strip of ruins, barely visible, if she didn't squint her eyes.
Yo pensé que iba a tomar un ratito, pero llevamos 1 hora. Este capítulo va a ser largo.
There, on a
Pero es muy
dilapidated
importante.
jetty in a nameless village, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. The ruins of a seafort stick out of the water, built by Philippe II, reappropriated by the commune, then lost in the landing. He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vitmer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him. Special Consultant Heidelstam is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the 3 walk down the jetty.
No, vengan a buscarnos.
As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You could get
Es
more out
verdad.
of him. He likes talking. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
Quizás sacamos un poco más de experiencia. ¿Ha visto algo más que no le haya gustado?
A tragic comedy.
Hmm.
Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
Yo creo que ya lo tendríamos que arrestar igual, porque no sé cuánto más podemos
A
tenerlo.
strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back.
Más específicamente,
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
disculpe.
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins. In their lorries. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
¿El señor Claire?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Sí, vamos a dejarlo terminar.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Intense, like animals, like those boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
¿Eso es todo?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no.
Básicamente tiró todo.
The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist
Hablando de nuestro amigo René.
still parade the ruins.
El señor René, no sé si era amigo.
Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Quayamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
No vamos
That's
a
all
decir
the
nada.
rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead.
No lo vamos a alargar más. A sentir
We
sin
did
más.
good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
Lo tomamos personal. No, vamos a hablar de Claire.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
No vamos a entrar en charla de política.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
¿Tienes una decepción, Ebrard?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
¿No es Ebrard quien dirige el sindicato?
That mobster toad couldn't run a shithouse. He has no political education. His twin, Edgar Clare, that one's been to one of those East Revachol universities. He talks a big game about uprising and alienation and so on.
¿Ha hablado con Edgar?
First against the wall with him.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course, maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
¿Ha contactado con ellos?
I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
¿Cuándo fue eso?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clares came to power.
Claro. ¿De qué está hablando?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzoff. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
¿Y le dejó estar aquí?
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Señor Dros, ¿mató al mercenario de Krenel para los Claire para iniciar una revuelta?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hang the man for them, but he's insinuating something.
Yo no sé si hablar de René por... Vamos por lógica.
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water.
Hace 20 años,
Dark,
cuando conociste a
cold
Edgar,
water.
los Claire aún no dirigían el sindicato, ¿no es así?
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
¿Quién lo dirigía?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
Ella también era una mujer, ¿verdad? Como clase.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muskova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
Y entonces ella desapareció sin más.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
Es un montón de información, por Dios. Yo no sé. No, no se puede guardar. Bueno, este video va a ser larguísimo, claramente. Quizás lo pase en dos partes. No, lo de la hija no, supongo que no. Jurarías que ves una vez más cómo brillan las ascuas bajo sus ojos. Edgar hizo que alguien realizara la llamada. ¿Por qué razón, señor Dros?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
¿Por qué?
Because she was dead.
¿Cómo?
Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled. Hard to say. It was a sloppy job on a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal. Heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
Fue usted.
It was someone. Someone shot her. Or maybe she just fell. I get these violent ideations. My memory is filled with holes, especially the 30s. All I know is nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
Pero lo hizo.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, 40 AM, Radio Revachol, late night. Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
Nueva misión. Ah, no. Esto no está traducido. Perfecto. Bien. No había visto que nos apareció una misión. ¿Qué sucedió por Woman a la antigua líder? Déjame corroborarlo. Sí. Creo que es antigua líder. En el traductor dice mujer del jurado. No importa. Hay rumores de que la anterior mujer del juzgado de la Unión desapareció. Justo antes de que los Claire tomaran la ciudad. Su hija... Su hija dijo en la víspera de la elección que ella no iba a seguir huyendo o yendo al trabajo. ¿Qué sucedió? Lo conseguimos. Perfecto. Y quizás está muy mal traducido, pero es lo que yo entiendo.
The
Sí.
same old freezing hatred.
No me gusta nada que ya sean las 10 y no
There's
hayamos
plenty
terminado.
here to work
Las
with
10 acá.
once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
Aquí hay mucho con lo que trabajar una vez esté bajo custodia y el teniente lo sabe. Asiente levemente para que procedas. Me alegra haber tratado el tema. Ahora.
Glad. It's all gone.
No puedo... Vamos a proceder. Iosef Lilianovich Dros queda detenido por el asesinato del coronel de la contratista de seguridad Krenel, aquí en Martínez.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
¿Le erré?
The sum of all the erratic movements, fidgeting, and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But...
Está aterrado.
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
¿Por qué sigue mirando los juncos?
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Espera.
There it is again, to your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other. But then, in the middle of it,
Yo sabía que había alguien más acá. Ahí está de nuevo, al norte, como desde que pusiste un pie en la costa. Los juncos susurran. Tallos que se rozan entre sí. Pero entonces, de entre ellos...
something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin, made of reeds and rushes.
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat.
Calla, Kim, ¿no lo oyes?
What?
What are you talking about? Is this really us?
Your skin crawls.
What? No entiendo qué estoy viendo. ¡Oh! El pásmido. What the fuck? ¿Qué es eso?
A delicate tangle of arms
El
and
pásmido
legs
insulínico.
unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
¿Qué coño es eso?
What are you talking about?
¿El insecto palo gigantesco?
There's nothing there.
Por algo estabas mirando los
The
juncos.
stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand rise instinctively.
Está ahí, lo veo.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, ¿lo ves?
I can see it.
Kim lo ve.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its
Qué
limbs
locura.
long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
El rifle Triagón. El Triagón de cerrojo y calibre 4.46 es el rifle de francotirador de la gente humilde. No es el arma más fiable, pero es relativamente precisa gracias a su manejable retroceso, lo que permite disparar varias veces consecutivas con una cadencia decente. Por desgracia, a este ejemplar le falta la mira. Ve con cuidado, podría ser peligroso. Ok, gente. 1 hora 28, una maldita hora 28 interrogando al desertor. Vamos a dejarlo acá. Próximo capítulo vamos a ver el pásmido. Una locura toda la información que nos dieron, cómo se nos reveló cada una de las situaciones que se nos fueron dando, cada maldito pequeño detalle como el de las flores, el hecho de que Klagen el día después de que pasara eso aparece en la terraza constantemente hasta que pudimos tener acceso. Este juego es una locura. Voy a guardar, más que nada porque ya veo que hago algo mal. Y gente, vamos a dejarlo acá. ¿Sí? Como dije, próximo capítulo, vamos directamente a ver qué se cuece con el Phasmido, ¿sí? Es raro que Kim y yo lo podamos ver y este tipo no. Quizás él se está haciendo el boludo. El tonto, como lo quieran llamar. Porque constantemente estaba mirando para... Bueno, no sé si este es exactamente el norte, pero constantemente estaba mirando para ahí. Y temblando. ¿Sí? Recordatorio simple, como hago siempre. Sé que no estoy subiendo videos como debería, sí, todas las semanas. Hay semanas que me estoy tomando libres, obviamente, porque también quiero disfrutar de mi vida. Voy a hacerlo rápido. Si les gustó el capítulo, si les gustó que atara todos los malditos cabos y todos esos excelentes chequeos que tuvimos, menos el de compostura, eh, denle el botón de like, dedito para arriba para este video, ¿sí? Dejen un comentario, a ver qué otro tipo de información pueden aportar, qué les pareció. Quizás me equivoqué en el decir que lo estaba restando y tendría que haber continuado. Quizás por apuro lo hice. Digo, claramente lo hice por apuro, pero quizás podría haber procedido de otra forma, ¿sí? Recuerden, likes y comentarios también ayudan a la difusión del video. No hay ningún problema. No están obligados igualmente, ¿sí? Y si creen que el contenido del canal por el momento está bien, ¿sí? Si les gusta, denle a suscribirse. Está debajo del título del video, a la derecha de lo que es la imagen. Gente, pórtense bien. Pórtense muy bien. Recuerden, piensen por ustedes, ¿sí? Todo lo que vivo diciendo siempre. Espero que les haya gustado. Nos estamos viendo. Saluditos.